The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello there. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk.
Welcome. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And somebody that's not supposed to be here is here.
Oh no. I can't believe it. Let's see if I can get him on screen in a second. Oh, much better picture. And there we are.
He's not on this monitor.
Oh, no, he is there now.
And I'm Carlos, and I made it.
You made it. Yeah, we didn't think you were going to. I was saying...
He's got his hair all moosed up. Look out. Don't get near me with that moose.
We were all unloved.
Just for you, Chip.
You got that hair all moosed up. Don't get that. You know, my hair might start sticking up if I use that stuff.
Well, it's definitely going to start out with a bang because I'm revved up and somebody decided to take a match to my gunpowder. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get to some house cleaning, for the lack of a better expression. We've reported on this show two stories which people have become very adamant about refuting. So we have to put their message out there. We are responsible journalists, and we take responsibility for what we report. We check and double check and triple check every story that we do here on Spindle City Straight Talk. And on occasion, things do fall through the cracks. And we get tips of all kinds. We get tips that this one's a thief, and that one's done this, and that one's done that. And, you know, we funnel through a lot of that stuff. But I received a phone call from Sarah, I can't even think of her last name.
Lynch.
Lynch, excuse me, also known as Sarah Levesque, saying that, you know, she doesn't work for the Housing Authority. She never got a job from the Housing Authority. She said she doesn't know Dottie Sutter except that she worked with her in the gym. Worked out with her in the gym. And okay, you know, we report that here. And again, we followed up again with our sources. And she gave me some information about where she currently works or doesn't work, et cetera, et cetera. And I went and followed up on that. So I'm putting her rebuttal to what we reported, and I have no problem doing that. She wants to make it very clear she does not now, nor has she ever, worked for the Housing Authority, and she does not like it that this is happening, and she wants us to retract what we said. So I'm putting this out there for our viewers to know that if we make a mistake, if we've been misinformed, if we didn't check out our sources more thoroughly enough, we definitely take responsibility for it. This morning, I received a phone call from Pam Laliberte. Pam made it very clear that her husband did work on a no-bid contract because it was a bidded contract, and he was a subcontractor for a subcontractor. He worked for Vitec, and Vitec was subcontracted to Amoresco. Amoresco is the energy company that holds the contract for the city. Pam made it very clear that her husband only installed the ceiling tiles. That's all he did. He didn't do anything else. He installed the ceiling tiles. And as a matter of fact, the floors were in place when he started installing the ceiling tiles. She made it very clear to me that the company that handled the floors was Rego Floor Covering, or Rego Floors. They handled the floors. And the bathrooms were handled in-house. The City of Fall River paid to create the Taj Mahal bathrooms. So again, we're presenting that information out to you. I verified a little bit of that information rapidly before the show today, and I will continue to follow up. Understand something. We're human. We do our due diligence, and we make sure numerous times, but sometimes you get tips from individuals who sometimes aren't always as clear, or maybe they misheard a name or misinterpreted the information, and that's why we have to do the clearing up. So I wanted to make that very clear. I know I can see Chip over there biting at the bit a little bit, wanting to make a comment. His face is like, no.
No, I'll make a comment on it, obviously. Listen, you know, the initial one with Sarah Lynch, that was something that came up that it was actually, because it was about the housing authority, it came in on the heels of the Walter Moniz moving, which we had corroborative evidence. As we said, we had actual paperwork from the state, and I think I held it up during the programming. And I think that, you know, sometimes, I don't know, CJ was the one who basically got into that and got the tip. And apparently, sometimes when a story comes in on the heels of something else, he'll, you know, I'm sure he reached out to someone to confirm that story, but unfortunately, sometimes those people are not accurate. But let me make something clear. At least I will tell you, we get tons and tons of anonymous calls, and a lot of them we don't take any action on unless there's some threat of plausibility, and we check it. But we have people that we check with, but if you give us erroneous information, you are then removed from any of our, you know, the next time we get any information from you, from these people, they will not be utilized again. And if they do give us any information, it's going to have to be quadruple checked, and we're going to have to spend some time. So as you know, what happened, I think, in this situation, is that we had the story on the housing authority, and this was something that had to do with the housing authority. So I know CJ wanted to piggyback that on because it would give it a little bit more dynamic. But it's kind of like when you see news reporting, you know, on the scene of something, and then they say there were 4 gunmen, and then there was only 2 gunmen, and then there's only 1 gunman, and because they get information from people that they feel are credible, and then they find out that it wasn't perfectly accurate because things change. And, you know, I know, you know, I worked with Sarah's husband for a very long time. He was a good firefighter, and I know him well, and he knows that I'm always straight. And the fact is that, look, I had a conversation with her this morning, and I said, you know, if you tell me that, I'm going to take your word for it, obviously. And now we have to go back and check the sources. And CJ, you know, wouldn't have said he confirmed it unless he did. So now the blame lies in the person who confirmed it, and now that's one of the things that is an ongoing and changing thing in this field. We have a dynamic that we have to depend on, just like police do, depend on informants and people who give us information. But you have people who are creditable and people who aren't. So obviously, whoever confirmed that for CJ is off the list.
Off the list. Off
So
the
with
magic
that,
list,
with that, and as far as the Pamela Bowl thing, I don't.
Well, you know,
a subcontractor or a subcontractor. All I know about that issue is the Inspector General will probably maybe get to the bottom of all of this.
Exactly. You know, and I got to say something. I heard it this morning, and, you know, somebody from another media organization, I will name him, Rick Oliveira, you know, he said very clearly that he didn't get into this industry to be liked. He got into this industry because he believed in it. But he said something, you know, very interesting. He says, you have to have 7 thick layers of skin. The first 6, everyone's going to tear apart. They're going to burn through them. But that 7th layer of skin is yours. And when you make a mistake, or you do something wrong, or you present some misinformation, you have to take responsibility for it. And how many times? We don't do that too often on this show. Okay, but we've always done it. We've always accepted responsibility. I mean, Edward Costa, he turned around and he called us up. He made a correction to something we reported on, and immediately at the next show, we corrected it. And it's not that we were misinformed. We misinterpreted the data, and that's what happens. We're human, and everything is subject to that interpretation.
99% of the tips and rumors we get Actually, if you think about our show, and we'll be soon celebrating our 100th show,
Yep.
which is really a milestone. But
That's
if you-
100 for this year.
Yeah, if you think about the 100th show for the year, but if you think about it, how many rumors we've discussed on this show in our time on the air, and if you look at it, the majority of those rumors that we got from people ended up becoming true. We reported them first because, and everybody said, oh, you're talking about rumor, and these rumors became facts. I mean, we broke a lot of stories on this show, and most of them are accurate. And as I said, it comes with the territory, because sometimes you get information, you're getting ready to go on the air, and and it could be a big, a story, and you do the best you can to corroborate the information. But sometimes, unfortunately, as I said, sometimes people don't give you accurate information, and the only thing you can do in that case is eliminate those people as a source, and that's what we normally do. We weed them out.
And that's what the police department does, and that's what other media organizations do. I have one other press release that I said I would definitely air. And this is from our colleague, Richard Urban.
Richard.
And the Caton Society will be conducting a ceremony to honor General Kazimierz Pulaski, Revolutionary War hero and father of the American cavalry, on Sunday, October 25th, 2015 at 11:30 a.m. at the Pulaski Monument, which is in Pulaski Park on Warren Street. The ceremony will be filmed, and it will be airing here on FRC Media. The public is invited, and oddly enough, this press release came from Ray Haig. So I thought it was very interesting, and Richard Urban can be contacted about it. Richard, you do great work out there. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now for me to get the gunpowder out of my backside before I explode, because I'm going to tell you something. I am so tired of this entire election process. I told the director here at BCC this morning, I was getting nauseous watching the city council forum last night. I have never heard so much of nothing in my life. They have taken this beyond the norm. They have lots of words that say nothing. You had Richard Cabaceres, you had Linda Pereira, you had Dan Rigo, who was looking across the table at Emerald Gaudet, who was somewhere in Never Never Land as usual, but there was really no substance. Every one of these people who are running, even the people who are at the top in the primary, the top 4, 5, 6 people, they have no substance in what they're presenting. And Pablum has more substance than what they're presenting. And the worst part about it is that the people of Fall River are eating it up like it's a prime rib dinner. No, it's not Tuesday night up on Airport Road. But it's
Oh, God.
Yeah, you don't want to go there.
it's getting to be ridiculous. Honestly, we have more forums and debates in this election than any other election that I can remember. And if people go out and vote for the same thing that they've always voted for, thinking they're going to get better, then what did we do? Why did we do it? It's like we're spinning our wheels. We bend over backwards, everybody. Keith Tebow and FRC Media, Rainey Kochman over at FRG TV, us over here at Spindle City Straight Talk. We put these debates and forums together so the public can be educated, so the public can make an informed decision when they go into the ballot box. And I'm still listening to the diatribe of bull from the candidates and the diatribe of bull from their supporters. I don't know who's worse.
Well, let me say this. Number one, when it comes to city council, if you ended up in the top 4, you're going to kind of basically keep your mouth shut and figure you're gonna slide in to be elected. You figure you're a shoo-in. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they're trying to keep their mouth shut as much as possible so they don't shoot themselves in the foot. But you know, I think another issue here, and hopefully with our debate, which is coming up, this coming Wednesday, and I hope you all go there and watch. A lot of it had to do with some of the questions too. I mean, some of these questions now, they're deplorable. I mean, I don't know what the intent of a question is, except maybe to reflect something about somebody, or it's a bag job. You know, when you ask a question in a mayoral debate, like what Halloween costume would you wear? I mean, oh my God. With all the issues facing the city, with all the problems facing the city of Fall River, and it's like, what's your favorite restaurant? Really? I mean, these are not questions that are pertinent to a city leader. You know, we have a city now on the verge of going in two different directions here. We are on the verge of receivership. I don't care what C. Samuel sort of says, that he's done a great job and we've got money. His own treasurer at a retirement board meeting said, we have a cash flow problem. We can't pay you on time. We have cash flow problems. We have underestimations of incoming revenue. We already know that we're not getting enough with the residential trash fee, but Sam is saying he's going to cut it next year. Well, what are we going to do to pay the bills? We're not making enough on that fee now. So what are we going to do? Print magic money again? I mean, these are the kind of pertinent issues that have to be addressed by both candidates. We have to talk about moving this city. We have an opiate epidemic. We have all
Number 3 in the state.
Number 3, yeah. Well, we're always up at the top on the negative stuff.
Number 3 in deaths.
But you know, the thing is that, but I have to say, in the last debate, you know, our man Carlos here was mentioned. It was like the battle of my neighborhood guy is better than your neighborhood guy. You know, because they were saying, oh well, you know, Sam's got his committee person there, and talking about how great it is, and you got to keep your promises. Well, you didn't keep your promise, Sam. You talked about transparent government, but the issues we have, and again, we have to get something of substance here. People have to look at how Fall River is going to move. Amazon, that's the panacea. Oh, Amazon's coming, 1,000 jobs, Fall River's okay. We're going to be great. It's wonderful. Wonderful thing. And recently, what story just broke? Somebody wrote an article about basically slave labor at Amazon.
The Huffington Post, the article on the death of an Amazon temp employee. And the fact that they're low-wage jobs. And this is the problem. Here's what we have our claim to fame. We're number 2 in violent crimes. Gunshots, rape, murder, mayhem. We're number 3 in, I love the way they clarified this a little bit. What is it? Unintentional heroin deaths. 83 or 84 last year.
Is there any such thing as an intentional?
Well, yeah, I guess.
I mean, I guess so, but
yeah.
I mean, it's fairly
but
rare there.
We came in, now, normally we say we come in behind New Bedford. Guess who we came in behind this time? Boston, number 1.
Well,
Worcester, number 2. Okay? I don't know where New Bedford came in down the line, but I'll tell you right now, we came in at number 3. And you know what? They're addressing it on the city council and in the mayoral races like they can do something. They can't do anything. And they're touting the glories and the praise of STAR. You know what? STAR initially started out as a good program. And I actually had conversations with STAR, and right now we're in my opinion, IMHO. I believe that STAR is nothing but a money-making cash cow for the board of directors and STAR. Because I have been there, I have witnessed people that are going for treatment there, and they come out the door, walk across the street, and they do a line, or they do some pills, or they shoot up. Okay, but you know what Star's defense to that was to me when I called him and called him out on it? Well, this is the clientele we serve. I don't care about the clientele you serve. And I'm going to make a statement right now that's my opinion, and I will expect my phone to be blown up off the hook. Here's the thing about unintentional deaths. Nothing is unintentional, all right? If you put a needle in your arm, you don't have a disease when that needle's filled with heroin. You weren't born with it. It's not like diabetes or cancer. It's a choice. So when you put that needle in your arm and you take a bad hit of heroin and you're found dead and they give you Narcan, and normally it's our police or firefighters that are doing that, or our EMS personnel, and they bring you back from the great beyond, and you turn around and assault them, do me a favor, tattoo on your forehead, kill me, don't give me Narcan, because you know what? That will solve half of our problems. And everyone's gonna say, oh, that's so bad, you shouldn't have that type of opinion. You know what? You gotta draw the line in the sand somewhere.
Oh, boy, CJ. So tell us like it. Tell us like it feels. But listen, we do have serious problems. And the reality is that what bothers me is that in order to fix a problem, you have to look at it realistically and objectively, and you have to have a realistic approach. You know, if you've got 6 men, you know, and you want to take over a position, you don't use a frontal attack if the other guy's got 3,000 soldiers there. You have to kind of fight a guerrilla war. You have to learn. You know, for Sam Sutter to make a claim that his plan is to cut the opiate addiction problem by 50% is ludicrous. And I mean, this is the kind of pie in the sky, campaign rhetoric. You know, Sam, if you say I'm going to give it everything I got to deal with this problem, we're going to do everything we can, and we're going to look for new and innovative things to try to deal with this problem. Yeah, okay, I can live with that. You know, that's a maybe, but your success, a 50% cut in a city like Fall River. Listen, historically, we're bringing in a lot of people who are addicted when they get here. And the reality is that this is a problem of epidemic proportion in this city. And these are the kind of things that really, really upset me about these politicians. I've said time and time again, look, this city was a blue-collar city. People went to work, they worked hard, they didn't make a lot of money, but they made some money. And the fact is that we understand that we have to build this city back brick by brick. We're not going to drop a modular house on this city and create an entire new city. I don't care what Dan Botello says, we're going to bulldoze the whole city and put single-family houses, and it's going to make this suburbia. It's not going to happen. We have to build this city by being realistic. We have to work. We have to work brick by brick, block by block. We have to put in programs that are realistic. We have to do things and stop with the political crap, and let's get down to business. We need people like Carlos working in neighborhoods. We need people committed to their neighborhoods. We need people involved, not politicians. That's the problem. The politicians make all the promises, and in reality, what's going to fix Fall River in this next election and in the rest of your life is what happens in the city of Fall River and what the people get involved in. Because when the people get together, as we did in the recall, and they can call it negative, but it was the people exercising their fundamental right to change a government. We can change this city just like we changed the mayor. And it's up to people. It's up to people to get involved. And one of the slogans I came up with is, we don't live in Fall River. Fall River lives in us. And if we want Fall River to be a better place, we have to give back to this community and all work together on these problems. And politicians slinging the BS before an election and filling the room full of hyperbole and making these ridiculous statements like we're going to cut the opiate problem by 50%. Get off it. I'm tired of listening to it.
Well, I know how they're going to do that. They're going to bulldoze the Flint.
and moving into the Flint, I have to say this. I was there at the debate, and the mayor talk about the Flint like he knows the Flint. In
He
9
doesn't?
months, I never had a mayor that hurt the Flint as much this administration did. 9 months that he's in office. I want him on the next debate to tell me and tell the people on the Flint one positive thing that he did for the Flint. He's just been hurting the Flint. He closed a public library. The only thing that I asked him was for him to announce it that my neighborhood group adopted 34 streets on my neighborhood so that those people could be represented by a neighborhood association. And the answer that he got from me is, go knock on doors. I want to hear from them that they want to belong to the Flint Association. I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. I don't know how you even dare to mention the Flint. You've been hurting the Flint since day one that you went in office. I don't care what people say. I don't care how many of your friends gonna open fake Facebook accounts just to message me messages, because guess what? I know I'm being defending my neighborhood, my neighbors, my city, and I don't care whose I'm gonna kiss. If my neighborhood needs my help, and that's for them that I'm gonna do it, I will kiss people's shoes if I have to. That's what I do, and that's why I still in charge of the neighborhood. If people don't like me there, they will vote me out, because I'm there because they vote me in for my seat.
Well said, Cesar. You know, you're, and justifiably upset, because as I said, you know, this thing of trying to pit one neighborhood against the other neighborhood and stuff, you know, we all live in this city. You know, as I said, and you have done many, many, many things without the mayor's help, and that's one of the things that I think sets you apart from many things. You don't go, you know, you go and ask the mayor for help, and if he doesn't want to give you the help, you go, well, the hell with you, we'll do it anyway, and you get it done. And that's what has to be done in this city. Because you know something? The only time you can depend upon a politician is at election time. You can depend on him to give you a Coney Island hot dog or a chow mein sandwich. As I said, we could eliminate the EBT cards. If we had an election every 2 months, we could feed everybody in the city for free, because they'd have chow mein sandwiches and dinners, and you know, they'd give everybody food just to get themselves elected. But you know, that's the problem we have in this community. Look, this is election time. You got the front runners trying to not shoot themselves in the foot, and you got this exchange of ridiculous promises. So look, let's stop with the 50% of you know, reduction in opioid use, and let's get down to some real things. The fact is, all you've done so far in your first year in office is raise taxes and expand government. And I want to hear how your opponent is going to change that, and how you are going to change, you know, the way you've been doing business in your next 2 years. That's a real simple act. And at our debate, we are going to vet the questions, and I guarantee you, I will not vote for any question that asks what your favorite restaurant is, what your favorite food is, or what color socks you like to wear.
Well, you know, I think that's important, what color socks he wears. But you know, just to quickly do this, because we're going into our rundown, the pictures for Halloween costumes that came up with Sam as Marie Antoinette holding cake, and Jason Correa as Count Dracula. So I think that says a lot. I saw that one. Yeah, I think that says a lot. Hey, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Remember, get out there. There's a lot of things going on this weekend here in Fall River. Love to be with you. We'll see you on Monday.
Stay angry.